Yeah, we are recording now. So we'll go back to our modules, the MOOC module on the Canvas platform, because we're just having a quick brief look at the history and the precursors of what happened before MOOCs came into existence. MOOCs came into existence in the 1980s and 1990s. But before that, correspondence courses and broadcast courses. Do you know what they mean by broadcast courses? What is meant by that?
It's not live.
No, no, it's
It's
not.
not person to person.
No, do you know what they mean by broadcast courses?
The courses which are on some sites.
Plan courses?
Well, they were not on websites because the internet didn't exist yet. Broadcast courses were done through radio programs,
Oh, okay.
radio broadcast courses.
Mhm.
So broadcast radio was new in the 1920s, and with programs that were free to audiences of any size, because of course, when they were broadcasting them on a radio, through a radio station, they were broadcasting out to whoever turned their radio on. They could not control how many people were listening because whoever wanted to turn their radio on was able to listen to these programs. So those were broadcast courses, and people could sign up for a broadcast course. They could pay a fee and submit an application, and they would be able to hear the broadcast over the radio, but they would also be sent a booklet of some kind that they would have to complete and then write an exam to get their certification. So that's what broadcast courses were all about. Those were different than correspondence courses because correspondence courses are just when you apply and send a fee, and the institution mails you a book. You complete a workbook and you write an exam, and it's all by correspondence. It's all by mail. So you can write essays and you mail your essays in, and you get them marked. But it was all done through the post, through the mail, through the Canada Post or the U.S. Postal Service or whatever country they were in. So that's correspondence courses, and then the broadcast courses were done through the radio, and that's how the larger education was done before MOOCs came into existence. And throughout the 1920s and 1930s and 1940s, the correspondence courses and broadcast courses were very big. But by the 1940s, these radio courses, the broadcast courses, had virtually disappeared in the United States. The Australian School of the Air used two-wave shortwave radio starting in 1951 to teach students in classrooms in remote locations, with students able to ask questions of a live instructor. So in Australia, because of the geography of Australia and those huge distances, thousands of kilometers of distance between where the educator, between where the teacher was with the classroom and where the student was out in a remote area of Australia someplace, because of that vast distance, they used two-way shortwave radios to communicate. And during World War II, movies were used to train millions of draftees as lecturers could demonstrate physical equipment in action. Universities offered televised classes starting in the late 1940s at the University of Louisville. In the United Kingdom in 1971, the Open University began teaching using distance learning, including course-based television broadcasts by the BBC, which started on the 3rd of January 1971 and ran until the 15th of December, 2006. So you see, we're not talking about a great long time ago. 2006 is not that far back from where we are today. And so this whole concept of MOOCs through the internet is a very new idea. It's a new concept. And even the education that we're doing this style right now is quite new because of the combination of internet and combining that with the educational process. And of course, we know why this has occurred this way. It's because of the pandemic. I mean, the TESOL and teaching this way of the TESOL courses really came about as a result of the pandemic, because prior to the pandemic, TESOL courses were always done in classrooms. There was very little online learning with TESOL. So this is quite new even for TESOL. So as many universities in the 1980s, classrooms were linked to a remote campus to provide closed circuit video access for some students. The CBS TV series Sunrise Semester broadcast from the 1950s to the 1980s with cooperation between CBS and New York University, offering course credit. And this concept of linking by closed circuit video and closed circuit TV, that concept was not only in education, but it was also in the medical world, because in the 1980s, there was closed circuit television hooks, links between different medical facilities, in major cities in Canada and the United States, with more remote locations, and in the far north, for instance, in the Yukon and Northwest Territories. And these closed circuit links and the video access, if in these medical circumstances, this was done so that they could perform surgery. They could perform very specialized surgery in the remote locations. And they had surgeons in the main centers who were demonstrating how to perform certain techniques and how to do certain things. And it was the closed circuit television and video access that permitted that to occur. In 1994, James J. O'Donnell of the University of Pennsylvania taught a seminar over the internet using Gopher and email on the life and works of St. Augustine of Hippo, attracting over 500 participants from around the world. The short lecture format used by many MOOCs developed from the Khan Academy free archive of snappy instructional videos. Are you familiar with the Khan Academy?
Yeah, I have heard that, yeah.
Not familiar. Never heard about it.
Yeah, my daughter used it. Khan Academy.
The Khan Academy is an American nonprofit educational organization created in 2008 by Saul Khan. Its goal is creating a set of online tools that help educate students. The organization produces short lessons in the form of videos. Its website also includes supplementary practice exercises and materials for educators. It has produced over 8,000 video lessons teaching a wide spectrum of academic subjects, originally focusing on mathematics and science. All resources are available for free to users of the website and application. As of 2018, over 70 million people use Khan Academy, out of which 2.3 million students use it to prepare for the SAT. SAT is University Entrance Exam. excuse me. As of November 2022, the Khan Academy channel on YouTube has 7.59 million subscribers, and Khan Academy videos have been viewed over 2 billion times. So here is Saul Khan. He first started making these videos. He began tutoring one of his cousins in mathematics on the internet using a service called Yahoo Doodle Images. So it all started because he was helping one of his nephews with, or one of his cousins rather, with his mathematics studies. And from there, Saul Khan just began to develop the videos and work with larger group of students. And his philosophy is all about helping children to understand mathematics and science. That's the basis of the Khan Academy. So it's very interesting. You can certainly look that up. Just type Khan Academy into your Google search and you'll find it easily enough. And I just have to stop this to get back to my other page. Hello, Zara. So that's what the Khan Academy is all about, and it's free. So I would have a look at it if I were you. There's certainly material you can use there with your students. In 2003, Hello China launched what the UK Guardian newspaper described on 24th of September that year as a new media venture to teach 4 million Chinese learners who were preparing for business degrees by radio, web, and mobile phone. The course was open to all participants who would have access to radio and the internet. The early approaches of MOOCs. The first MOOCs emerged from the open educational resources movement. The term MOOC was coined in 2008 by Dave Cormier of the University of Prince Edward Island in response to a course called Connectivism and Connective Knowledge, known as CCK08. CCK08, which was led by George Siemens of Athabasca University and Stephen Downes of the National Research Council, consisted of 25 tuition-paying students in extended education at the University of Manitoba, as well as over 2,200 online students from the general public who paid nothing. All course content was available through the RSS feeds, and online students could participate through collaborative tools, including blog posts, threaded discussions in Moodle, and Second Life learnings. Stephen Downes considered these so-called CMOOCs. The C stands for connectivist, to be more creative and dynamic than the current XMOOCs, which he believes resemble television shows or digital textbooks. XMOOCs are referred to as extended MOOCs. So XMOOCs are typically an extension of a university course or some other item. They're an added-on extension. So I'll let you continue reading that on Canvas yourselves. I'm going to go to a PowerPoint here about MOOC now, and we'll get it set up as a slideshow so you can see it clearly. Massive open online courses. What is a MOOC? We're going to watch this short little YouTube video. It's only a few minutes long, but it has some good insight into what is a MOOC and tells the story of MOOCs through pictures, which is always helpful.
Daniel, we can see your screen.
You
Yeah,
can't.
we are just... No. I
No.
think you're not sharing.
Okay, let me get back to sharing the screen. Sorry about that. I'm glad you mentioned that. You're right. I'm not sharing the screen. How can you possibly see it?
It is all good.
I'm glad you mentioned it. So we're just going to go to the beginning of this MOOC PowerPoint. So now you can see the PowerPoint, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is a MOOC? We're going to listen to this little YouTube video.
The massive open online course is a response to the challenges faced by organizations and distributed disciplines in a time of information overload. It used to be that when you wanted to know about something, you could do a few things. You could ask someone, you could buy a book, you could try to figure it out for yourself, or you could call a school. If that school offered the course and the thing you were trying to figure out, you could go there and take it. You could get access to information about a topic. An instructor had combed through journals and books to pull the information together from a library. You might even find others who are also interested in the same things that you are. The MOOC is built for a world where information is everywhere, where a social network obsessed with the same thing that you are is a click away, a digital world. A world where an internet connection gives you access to a staggering amount of information. This video will introduce you to how a massive open online course is one way of learning in a networked world. A MOOC is a course, it's open, it's participatory, it's distributed, and it supports lifelong networked learning. In one sense, a massive open online course is just that. It's a course. It has facilitators, course materials, it has a start and an end date, it has participants. But a MOOC is not a school. It's not just an online course. It's a way to connect and collaborate while developing digital skills. It's a way of engaging in the learning process that engages what it means to be a student. It is, maybe most importantly, an event around which people who care about a topic can get together and work and talk about it in a structured way. The course is open. All of the work gets done in areas accessible for people to read and reflect and comment on. The course is open in the sense that you can go ahead and take the course without paying for it. You might pay to get the credit through an institution, but you're not paying for participating in the course. It's also open in the sense that the work done in the course is shared between all the people taking it. The material put together by the facilitators, the work done by the participants, it's all negotiated in the open. You get to keep your work and everybody else gets to learn from it. The course is participatory. You really become part of the course by engaging with other people's work. Participants are not asked to complete specific assignments, but rather to engage with the material, with each other, and with other material they may find on the web. You make connections between ideas and between you and other people. You network. One of the outcomes that people get from the course are the network connections they've built up through engaging with each other. The course is distributed. And all these blog posts and discussion posts, video responses, articles, tweets, and tags all knit together to create a networked course. They're mostly not found in one central location, but rather all over the internet in different pockets and clusters. There's no right way to do the course, no single path from the first week to the last. This allows for new ideas to develop and for different points of views to coexist. It also means that one of the side effects of a MOOC is the building of a distributed knowledge base on the net. The course is a step on the road to lifelong learning. MOOCs promote independence among learners. It encourages participants to work in their own spaces and to create authentic networks that they can easily maintain after the course finishes. A MOOC can promote the kind of network creation that lifelong learning is all about. The course part is just the beginning. And how can you go about finding one of these? Well, news that a MOOC will be offered usually spreads on online networks. People who have reputations for interesting skills or innovative thinking on a topic decide to collaborate by offering an open online course covering that topic. Anyone who wants to join in can. In a MOOC, you can choose what you do, how you participate, and only you can tell in the end if you've been successful, just like real life.
Some examples of MOOC platforms are Coursera, Udacity, edX, and Udemy. Now, these are all easily accessible, and there are free courses on all these sites. You can go to them and you can do a search for free courses. And as part of your MOOC essay that you're going to write, you're asked to go to these different sites. You're asked to find a course that is of interest to you, and you are asked to complete 2 or 3 sessions of it. You don't need to complete the entire course, but you are asked to do 2 or 3 of the lectures, 2 or 3 of the classes, so that you're able to talk about it in your MOOC essay. You can talk about the, how accessible it was and how user-friendly it was, or you can describe how unfriendly it was. So Coursera was launched in April of 2012. It had 69 university partners by February of 2013, including Stanford University, University of Michigan, Princeton, and the University of Pennsylvania. This is just a screenshot of the Coursera website, the homepage. This is not active, so I can't do anything here. This is what edX looks like, their homepage. You can see here edX has over 3,000 courses to choose from. This is Udacity, and Udacity has different categories of setups on their homepage. You can create accounts for free on these sites, and then you can sign in and you can look around inside their sites. And this is what Udemy looks like. So this one, Udemy claims to have the world's largest choice of courses with over 130,000 online course videos. New courses are added every month. On the TESOL Canada website, you will find a link to MOOC on the Home International Approvals page. This is the home/international approvals page, and right here is the word MOOC in blue lettering. And through this link, if you click on the word MOOC, it will take you to this page, which is an access point to many different MOOCs and free online courses on the internet. So you can access these MOOCs through the TESOL website as well. On the home/international approvals page. So there are many ways of getting to these MOOCs and many ways of accessing them. We're going to have a look in just a moment at some Spanish MOOCs and Japanese MOOCs. That's for the benefit of Vianney, who's doing the teaching Spanish to speakers of other languages, and to Eileen, who's teaching Japanese to speakers of other languages. So there are MOOCs available in many different languages. But you also have this MOOC assignment, this MOOC essay. It's a short 2 to 4 pages of research that should identify various methods and technology used, MOOC's advantages and disadvantages compared to traditional classrooms covering different levels, broadcasting to many geographical locations, and more. For this assignment, you may use online MOOC resources. As part of the assignment, you are asked to sign up for a free online course through one of the MOOC platforms. Now, it's essential that you sign up for a free course. We're not requiring you to pay for a course. If you choose to pay for a course, then that's because you really want to pay for it. That's fine. But we don't expect you to have to pay for a course to get a little bit of experience with the course. And then you're asked to complete a couple of sessions so that you can discuss your experience in the MOOC assignment paper. and it's not necessary to complete the course. So just a brief little overview PowerPoint there about MOOCs. And now we're going to have a look at a couple of other things. This is my MOOC assignment that I handed in October of 2020. So I began with a general opening statement about MOOCs and education and the internet. I talked about the methods and technologies used in teaching of MOOCs and used on MOOC platforms. And then I talked about the MOOCs that I investigated as part of my research for this paper. So I opened accounts with Udemy and Coursera. I also attempted, unsuccessfully, to reach the Box Hill site in Australia. And this Box Hill site, this link is included in another document. This is the TESOL document, Practical Approach to In-Class and Online Technology, Introduction to MOOC. So in this document, they include a link to the Box Hill site in Australia, but I could not get the link to work.
Daniel, did you say that that's your essay?
This is not my essay.
Okay.
This is my essay.
And it's in Canvas?
No, my essay is, this is just a PDF document of my
Okay.
essay.
I'm just asking you because I saw a lot of pages and I remember you saying that it was 2 to 4 pages.
Right, mine's actually 6 pages. So
Okay.
Really?
I'm sorry, I jumped to another document there. This other document is actually a TESOL document. This document that you got confused with, sorry, I got you confused. But in this document, which is a TESOL document, they say, as a student, you need to log into this Box Hill site through Education Australia. But I could not get this link to work. So if you're trying to get into this site, you can't get it to work either. Don't be too concerned about it. All right. I just wanted to show you that because I couldn't get it to work. So that's actually, excuse me, that's actually a TESOL document. Sorry.
So we need to do this assignment after the other assignment, or no difference? Which one comes first? Which one comes second?
Well, you should do this MOOC essay after the conversation activities. And the conversation activities, the due date for them is February 12th.
Yeah.
The MOOC essay, well, on my list, it says the MOOC essay is due February 5th, which is coming up pretty close here.
Yeah.
But again, if you do not have access to your MOOC module, you need to send Simon Baker an email to ask him to release that for you.
Yeah,
Daniel,
definitely.
can you please repeat for me? So what is the essay that is coming up for February 5th?
It's the MOOC essay.
We have to compare, talk about one MOOC.
Okay. And then after the conversation activities, there is another MOOC essay to do?
No, only one MOOC essay, but there's a MOOC project.
Got it.
But are any of you in the diploma program?
I am.
Then you need to do the MOOC project.
Okay.
And so, Vina, you will write your MOOC essay in Spanish, and you'll do your MOOC project in Spanish as well.
Okay, and I will get some MOOC sites as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you should look at some Spanish MOOC sites as well. So back to my essay, my MOOC essay. I then described my experience as a student with online courses. So when I started taking the TESOL course, I had an opportunity to sign up for another course called Contemporary Approaches for University Teaching on the Canvas platform. So I did that as well, and I got that certification. And so I just described my experience with that course. And I also talked about the fact that in recent years, I've also taken many courses for professional designations in continuing education through a wide variety of online providers. In my financial services business that I've been doing for 3 decades now, many of my courses, many of my continuing education courses are provided online and through MOOC sites. So I've had a lot of experience with online education in many different circumstances. So I just talked about that. And then I did a brief review of these MOOC platforms, Udacity, edX, Class2Go, and Coursera. I talked about those 4 MOOCs as reviewed by a fellow by the name of Paul Stacey, and I referred to his writing. I'll give you, I'll put the link to his article in the chat box in a moment. It's an article that I would suggest that you should read and maybe include in your references for your MOOC essay as well. It's a very good article. And then I talked about the fact that I did agree with Paul Stacey with some exception, but I explained how I felt about that with thoughts there. Now, with that contemporary approaches to university teaching course that I did, one of our activities, one of our assignments was to go to a site that is called Voki and to create an avatar that had something to do with education. So I'm going to go to this website and I'm going to show you the avatar that I created. So Voki is a website where teachers and educators, that's the avatar I created right there.
Mhm.
Teachers and students can use Voki, and Voki is a website that many educational institutions subscribe to it, and students complete assignments through the Voki site and they submit their assignments and their avatars speak for them. Now, I'm going to move the cursor around. As I move my cursor around, watch the eyeballs of the avatar.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining. So I'm going to play what the recording is on this. I hope you're able to hear it because it's just a message about my thoughts about education.
Hello, I am Dano. My teaching philosophy focuses on student-centered activities. It is very important for me to identify and understand individual student characteristics and learning needs. I incorporate group work and student peer reviews in my classes. My goal is to guide students to become lifelong learners using discovery, analysis, and creative problem-solving skills.
So each of you could go to the Voki website and you could create your own free avatar.
Daniel, is
And
that your voice?
no, that's an electronic computerized voice.
Okay. I just thought for some reason you were able to record yourself and edit it somehow.
No, you
Okay.
you get to choose the accent that you want.
Okay. Thank you.
You do
You-
record yourself, but when it plays it back, it plays a different accent.
Mhm.
So you can just type Voki in your search bar on your computer, VOKI, and it will take you to the Voki website, and you can go there and create your own avatar for free. Now you only get to create one avatar free. After that, of course, they want you to start paying a monthly fee, which I did not do. But it's kind of fun anyway. So it's interesting. So that's my Voki avatar. And who knows, when you get teaching in a school system, you might want to have students actually sign up, and maybe the students want to pay a fee and use the avatars and the Voki site to submit assignments and complete homework. That's up to you to decide in the future. In the meantime, this is just another aspect of MOOC education that I wanted to share with you. So then I refer to the fact that there, in online and in-class learning, there are both the advantages and disadvantages. So what I did was I created this chart and I attached it as an appendix to the, let me just increase the size here so you can read it a little bit better. Are you able to read that?
Yeah, but
Still pretty small.
yeah, a little. Yeah, much better.
So what I did was I said, I named the different items, and then I said the online advantage and the online disadvantage. And then I had the in-class advantage and the in-class disadvantage. So I created this chart because I had a lot of points of information that I wanted to make sure to include in the essay. And by doing it in a chart form, it meant that I was able to shorten the space that it took. If I wrote this all out in paragraph and full sentence and paragraph, I would have had a much longer essay. So I used the chart to help keep the size of my essay down in length. And then, of course, you also need to make sure that you include a bibliography section with references. So here's the Paul Stacey reference that I'll put in the chat box. And I have to stop sharing the screen so that I can get at the chat box. Let me just put this in the chat box for you. So you can copy that from the chat box and you can save that for when you want to use it to work on your essay, okay? So any questions about the MOOC essay, ladies?
Yes, you were saying that we're going to use this link to work in our essay. Does it apply even if I'm doing the essay in Spanish?
You mean Paul Stacey
Yes.
link? Well, what Paul Stacey talks about would apply to any MOOCs of in any language, because he's talking about how MOOCs developed. He's talking about the use of MOOCs in education, and so So he's talking about the impact of incorporating online elements in the interaction between students, such as breakout rooms in Zoom, Google Team Meets application. So what he's talking about applies in any language. So you could certainly use it, Vianney, and you could just describe how what he is saying, how it applies to the
Okay, thank you.
Spanish application. Okay.
And so can I ask something?
Yes.
I'm in fundamental part. I'm not in advanced class. So for me, I don't need the project. Yeah, I need to do the assignment about checking 2 or 3 sessions of a MOOC, and then I talk about it. Yeah, like an essay.
Right. So you do the essay, but not the project.
Okay.
That's correct. So the project that Vianney will do in the diploma program,
Yeah.
the project is where you design 2 or 3 classes at the beginning of a MOOC course. So you actually design the classes, and you might present them as a PowerPoint presentation, or you might present them as a recorded lecture. How you decide to do it is up to you. But the MOOC project is different than the MOOC essay.
Thank you.
Okay. So any other questions about the MOOC essay?
I
And
do have one now. Sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I know that I have to look for MOOC sites in Spanish. Once I find one that I like, do I just send an email to Simon to see if that will be acceptable? Or can I just do it?
You can simply refer to the Spanish MOOC sites. So here's an example of Spanish MOOC site and free online courses. All I did was I typed in the search bar Spanish MOOC.
Okay, easy.
So if we go to this, you're going to get some different Spanish. So this is through the website edX.
Mhm.
This is through Coursera. So this is Spanish vocabulary, cultural experience on the Coursera website. So by typing in Spanish MOOC, you'll get all kinds of different options becoming available to you.
Thank you.
Okay. So you can just go ahead and find some Spanish MOOC sites and use them in your essay. And that's not a problem at all. These might also help you to design when you're designing your own MOOC project. So those are our Spanish MOOC sites. Does that help, Vianney?
It does, thank you.
You're welcome. And by the same token, Eileen, I typed Japanese MOOCs in my search bar. And so we've got Japanese language MOOCs. You could open up this and you could have all these different MOOC courses that are accessible and available for you to review and have a look at. Okay?
Okay. Okay. So I just typing for the keywords about the MOOC Japanese site. Just
Yes.
to look out, right? Okay.
Yes. All you have to do is type Japanese MOOCs in the search bar.
Okay. Got
So
it.
I open a new tab and I just type Japanese MOOCs. And it brings me to this page. And then I can go to, I just pick the first one there and it gives me all these others inside it. Then you can go and have a look at these and decide if there's something you want to look at there and go to one of these. Essential Cloud Infrastructure. This is a foundation course in that topic. And so it's up to you whether you want to study it or not. So, you know, you can read this. I think this is just a brief description of it.
Yeah.
I can't read the Japanese, but I'm assuming that that is a brief description of the course.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so does that help you, Eileen?
Yes.
Okay, very
Thank you.
good. You're welcome. All right. So we've had a look at Spanish and Japanese MOOCs. And now we're looking at RCA cables, which have nothing to do at all with your course. That was another website that I was looking at. I was trying to help a friend of mine sort out the kind of wiring she needed for her sound system at home. So that's what that was all about. But let's go back to our, oh, I have to stop sharing the screen so I can get back to my other tab. I had lost my TESOL tab there. So this is back on the Canvas platform. And it's talking about different types of MOOCs in this section. The connectivist MOOC, which is the tiny C, it's a C MOOC. These are C MOOCs. C MOOCs rely on the former approach. Broadcast MOOCs rely more on the latter. So remember a few moments ago, I mentioned that X MOOCs, where the X stands for extended, as in they're TEDx or edX, and they represent MOOCs that are designed to be in addition to something else, such as a university course, for example. An emerging trend in MOOCs is the use of non-traditionalist textbooks, such as graphic novels, to improve knowledge retention. Using pictures, the graphic novel is made up of pictures to tell the story. Others view the videos and other material produced by the MOOC as the next form of the textbook. MOOC is the new textbook. As MOOCs have evolved, there appear to be two distinct types: those that emphasize the connectivist philosophy and those that resemble more traditional courses. To distinguish the two, Stephen Downes proposed the terms CMOOC and XMOOC. A third type, the VMOOC, has been suggested to describe vocational MOOCs that would require simulations and related technologies to teach and assess practical skills and abilities. So on YouTube, if you want to find a YouTube video about plumbing, for instance, and how to sweat solder a copper pipe in a plumbing project, that would be referred to as a vocational MOOC. because it has a practical skill connected to it. And so the topic being covered is more of a practical item. And you can look up things such as how to change rotate the tires on a car, how to change the wheels on a car. You can have a video that shows you how to do it. And that would be a vocational MOOC, a VMOOC, because it's a practical skill and ability. The principles behind these are the connectivist MOOCs are based on principles from connectivist pedagogy, such as aggregation, which enable the content to be produced in different places and aggregated as a newsletter or a web page accessible to participants. Remixing associates materials created within the course with each other and with other materials. Repurposing of aggregated and remixed materials to suit the goals of each participant. And feeding forward, which is sharing of repurposed ideas and content with other participants and the rest of the world. Here is an earlier list of connectivist principles from Siemens. We're not going to go through that entire list. Ravenscroft claimed the connectivist MOOCs better support collaborative dialogue and knowledge building. Assessments. Assessment can be the most difficult activity to conduct online, and online assessment can be quite different from the bricks and mortar version. Special attention has been devoted to proctoring and cheating. The two most common methods of MOOC assessment are machine-graded multiple choice quizzes or tests and peer-reviewed written assignments. Excuse me. Machine grading of written assignments is also underway. Peer review is often based upon sample answers or rubrics, which guide the grader or how many points to award different answers. These rubrics cannot be as complex for peer grading as for teaching assistants. Students are expected to learn via grading others and become more engaged with the courses. And then there's a potential benefits list, 12 benefits of MOOC. And of course, there are challenges and criticisms. So you should definitely, before you write your MOOC essay, you should definitely read through this MOOC section of the Canvas platform and use it as guidance for your paper, for your assignment. Any questions about the MOOC paper?
No, I don't.
Okay, this Wednesday, Anna Patricia will be talking to you about writing essays and your research paper. And on Saturday, February 4th, Elham Masagi will be doing the demos and samples of your 4 skills lesson plans. So just to give you a little bit of head sight.
Thank you.
Sorry, on Wednesday, she talks about writing an essay about. We should write an essay. I didn't get that part.
Anna Patricia will be talking to you about writing essays, the different styles of essays, and she'll be talking to you about your research paper as well.
We have a research paper. Thank you.
Okay. So we're just going to do another little brief PowerPoint about MOOC course creation. So MOOC course creation, it's important to have equipment and technology, internet and Wi-Fi, stable internet connection, computer, external good quality microphone, external good quality webcam. Those are all important little points about the equipment and the technology. Then you need to decide synchronous or asynchronous learning. What is the definition of synchronous learning?
I don't know.
And of course, you know, if I'm asking you what the definition of synchronous learning is, next thing I'm going to ask you is what's the definition of asynchronous learning?
They are different.
Maybe it is when a course, like when you can do the course at your own pace.
What is that, Vianney? Which one?
The second one, the yellow one, asynchronous.
Yeah, that's right. The asynchronous learning is when you're doing the studying on your own pace.
Mhm.
So when you're studying the TESOL platform, the Canvas platform, on your own time, you are doing asynchronous learning, where the material has been prepared for you ahead of time, but you're studying it at your own pace. So what are we doing right now? What are the four of us doing right now? Which style is this?
Right now it is synchronous.
Synchronous.
This is synchronous, yes.
Yeah.
Because we are synchronized together. We're working together. We're online at the same time. We're having conversation. It allows us to discuss things. So you're not studying by yourself on your own time right now. You are participating as part of a group right now. So this is synchronous. Whenever you're taking part with a group discussion, it's synchronous learning. When you're doing it by yourself on your own time, it is asynchronous learning. So the synchronous, as we described, is a live online session. The asynchronous is a pre-recorded lecture for the learner viewing on their own time. So whether you're reading the Canvas platform material or whether you're watching one of the pre-recorded webinars that are then posted on YouTube, that also is asynchronous because you're using them for review and you're studying them on your own time. When you're talking about a MOOC, you have to decide what type of MOOC is it? Is it a C MOOC or an X MOOC or something else? The C MOOC emphasizes the role of social and cultural context. It's connectivist, the connectivist MOOC. The perspective is similar to Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. This was later transposed into Engstrom's activity theory. The connectivity is the relationship between experience, learning, and knowledge, similar to Bandura's social learning theory, which proposes that people learn through contact. The different names that you see listed on this slide, Vygotsky, Engstrom, and Bandura, you need to be aware of those names and you need to know what their theories relate to. You need to know that Vygotsky's perspective and his zone of proximal development, you need to know what that's about. And you need to know what Engstrom's activity theory is about. Now, one of the things that I wish the Canvas platform had was a search bar. There's no search bar in Canvas. So you're not able to type in Engstrom, for instance, and have the Canvas platform take you to where the Engstrom name comes up and where his activity theory is described. But you can type any of these into your Google search bar, and you can read about Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, Engstrom's activity theory, or Bandura's social learning theory. You can read about those on the internet because they are very widely known about, they're very widely written about, and Google has all that information stored, just waiting for you to go searching for it.
Yeah. Sorry, can I ask something?
Yes.
These two are famous for this CMOOC. Yeah, their theory is about CMOOC. For its general, they talk about MOOCs, their theory.
Well, these people, Vygotsky and Engstrom and Bandura, none of them are really talking about MOOC necessarily, but they're more psychology, and so they're talking about connectivist theory.
How
Connectivist
people learn,
theory,
correct?
how people learn and how people connect to each other. Yes. So these theories go back to before MOOCs even existed necessarily.
Thank you.
It's just that connectivist MOOCs follow some of the thinking of these psychologists, these philosophers.
Thank you. I got that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there are the X MOOCs, the extended MOOCs. These are designed to be in addition to something else, such as a university course. So you might have a university course at University ABC or XYZ, and the professor of that university course might say that he or she has developed an extended MOOC course to go along with the university course offered in person, and you might be required to do the university, the MOOC course as an extension as part of the actual university course. And we talked about the VMOOCs, the vocational MOOC, where these are providing practical skill demonstrations and related technologies to teach and assess those practical skills. Things such as plumbing or mechanical things to do with cars, anything like that, anything that is considered a vocation. You could even find vocational MOOCs about, how to build a house, how to put the framing together, the lumber together for the framing of a house. There are many different vocational MOOCs. You could find a video about how to pour cement, how to create a cement sidewalk, or put down bricks on the driveway. Many different things. Yes, go ahead. You have a question, Eileen?
Yes, sorry. On the XMOOC, similar as YouTube, describes some skill to customers. Is it correct?
Well,
I
the
realized
YouTube,
that.
the
Yeah.
YouTube MOOCs that are describing skills to think about things, those are similar to a VMOOC.
Yes. Yeah.
The X MOOCs are typically connected to a university course.
Okay. So we can have a certificate from the XMOOC, all of the score. We can got from the XMOOC courses, right?
It's very possible, yes.
Okay.
Now, in order to get a certificate from X MOOCs, you typically will need to pay a tuition fee
Oh, yes.
to get a certificate. Very often, you can watch the X MOOC videos for free, but you do not get a certificate unless you pay the tuition.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So an important thing to remember with MOOC preparation is that MOOC courses and MOOC webinars, MOOC assignments should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. SMART. They should be SMART assignments. Specific, measurable. Measurable is connected to the assessment of the assignment. It should be achievable. It should be something that the student is able to achieve. It should be realistic in the sense that it has a purpose to it. It's not just a make work project. It's an actual realistic assignment that will benefit the student by doing it. And timely. Timely means that it's connected to the course in a timely fashion so that it makes sense with where you've placed it in the course. Key skills. Set the learning goals, set clear learning goals with the overall main purpose goal, the enabling objectives of how the learners will achieve the goal. So the enabling objectives are the things that the students do during the class to get to the terminal goals. And the terminal objectives, what will be the benefits for learners at the end of the lesson? Now you're going to recognize those from your conversation activities assignment. Second key skill is the planning. Every step in detail. Include pictures, video links, worksheets, handouts, PowerPoint presentations with voiceover recording. Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to do a PowerPoint presentation with voiceover recording?
I did it once, but I need to practice more.
Sure. We'll have a look at that in a moment. I have a PowerPoint that I save for using as a demonstration of how to do it. It's really quite simple. You just need to know which buttons to press at the top in the menu bar. So we'll have a look at it. In your online courses, including games and quizzes, not having any dead time. Dead time is that's also referred to as quiet time on radio broadcasting. The worst thing a radio broadcaster can do is to have dead time or quiet time. If there's a radio broadcast occurring, and then all of a sudden the radio broadcaster doesn't have anything to say, and there's silence. Now, I actually was not speaking there, so you didn't miss anything, but that was dead time. There's no advantage to having dead time. So I know you're very used to hearing me talking and on and on and on and on. All of a sudden, if I go silent, I don't want you thinking there's a problem. I'm just demonstrating how dead time is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The third key skill is good management skills. Setting tasks, checking the learner's understanding, having clear instructions, and demonstrating activities. Now, you see, that's what I was doing with the dead time. I was demonstrating that activity. Through my silence, I was demonstrating dead time. Using gestures, inviting the learners to speak, show that I am listening, waiting for you to speak. So if I ask you to respond to a question, I need to give you some time to actually respond. And asking open-ended questions to encourage discussion. Establish and build rapport. Offer encouragement and praise. If I ask a question and I say, does somebody have an answer? And one of you gives me an answer to the question, and I say, oh, that's a lousy answer, Vianney. Why would you ever say anything like that? Well, Vianney will never say another thing ever again on the webinars. So you have to offer positive encouragement and praise And that's easy to do when, you know, when you ladies answer questions, you give good answers, and so it's easy to offer positive encouragement and praise. It's important. And chatting with the participants before the class begins. You know, that's why I'm always here. I always sign on to the webinar about 10 minutes early. And I'm here, and when, as you sign in, we begin to have conversation, and I will usually ask you if you have any questions about anything. We chat about the course, and so that's good for you to have that kind of rapport building up with conversation with me, and personalizing the class for the learners. You know, letting you bring your personal experiences into the conversation is important as well. Bring energy, enthusiasm, and personality. I think if you've learned anything by now after a few weeks with me, I think you've learned that I am enthusiastic about education, and I do have a personality of, you know, we can enjoy a chuckle every now and then, and enjoy a bit of humor, and that's a good thing. So lastly, we're going to just look at this short list of online site resources: Coursera, Udemy, Udacity, and Thinkific. And Vianney, Thinkific, because part of your project for creating some lessons in a MOOC course, Thinkific is a site that you might want to have a look at, because they're very good at they've got a very good setup for creating courses on their site. So have a look there, Vianney.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So a little earlier, I showed you the TESOL program guide. That's when I was jumping back and forth between my essay and the TESOL guide. I got you confused about what was my essay and what was the guide. Well, that all the material in this PowerPoint was taken from that MOOC program guide. So let's just go back to it briefly for a moment. And let me ask you if you recognize this program guide. And I actually remembered to share the screen before I asked the question. Do you recognize this? Have you been sent this by email from TESOL? Trying to
I
get
haven't
that.
seen that. I don't know if they
No.
sent it, and if they did, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to email this to you if you would like it. Now,
Great.
a lot of the material in here has now been transferred over to the Canvas platform. So there's a lot of duplication between what you find in this document and the Canvas platform now. But that's okay. If you would like me to send this to you, I certainly will.
Yes, please.
But I would just ask that you send me an email requesting it.
And what is the name of this one? We have to say it's MOOC.
MOOC
Say MOOC.
program guide.
MOOC program. Thank you.
Right, MOOC program guide.
Is it, excuse me, the book program guide is we couldn't find from the Canvas plan from Canvas platform?
No.
Research here I think some of the resources already already setting at the canvas more.
Is it under the resources?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Just I want to ask you.
I haven't seen that before, but I think it's not.
No, it's
Okay.
not. I'm looking under the resources right now. And no, the MOOC guide is not there.
Okay.
As I mentioned, a lot of that MOOC program guide that I was showing you, a lot of that has been put onto the MOOC part of the platform. So a lot of this material is duplicated. A lot of this was taken from that MOOC guide, because when I received that MOOC guide by email back in 2020, this MOOC module did not exist on Canvas at that time.
Okay.
But since then, they have uploaded the MOOC guide onto the Canvas platform almost totally, almost word for word. But I'm happy to email you the MOOC guide just in case there is some difference.
Thank you.
So if you send me an email, I'll send you the MOOC guide back.
Okay.
Okay, and then of course, this is the next section of the MOOC module. And it gets into action mapping. And you see this relates to the goals and enabling and terminal objectives, because it's got the measurable goal named first. So you name the goal, and then you design the action to reach the goal, and you have an activity that is part of the action, and then only essential information is used for the activity. So this is kind of a backwards curriculum design as well, which is the best way to design curriculum. You start with the goal, start with where you want the students to end up at, and then design the curriculum that's leading up to the goal and build it backwards. If you start with some information and you build towards a goal, then these get bigger and bigger, and these become huge sections. And it's very difficult to have a measurable, achievable goal unless you identify that as your starting point. So identify your goal first. We talked about this with the conversation activities. Identify the goal of the lesson first, and then build the activities up to it that will achieve it and get you there. Okay?
Yeah.
Action mapping is a scenario-based teaching. So scenario-based is like a goal-based. It's a goal-based curriculum development model. Action mapping is just a visual mapping out of your lesson plan. Action mapping focuses on what people do rather than what they might need to know. This focused approach places business goals and performance at the heart of the design process, and aids the creation of learning activities that support learners achieving work-based performance targets. In here, work-based performance relates to your lesson plan's objective. Once you can define the objective, you can begin mapping the lesson. again, you start with your objective, you start with the end goal, your measurable goal, and then you build up the action and activity that will get you to that end goal. Okay, so it's a backwards design, backwards planning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, ladies, any questions about MOOC?
For me, it was very new. I didn't know anything about that. So it's a lot of information. I need to active this part and read it one more time.
Same
Yes,
here.
of course, and it is a very new area. It's still a new area.
Mhm. Yeah, you know, I hadn't heard about MOOC. You said it first time last week, I guess, but I thought that MOOC is exactly like e-learning. So now I know they're not the same. They're different.
There is a difference, yes.
Yeah.
There are similarities,
Yeah.
but there are also differences.
Yeah.
And MOOCs have been around for a while, but MOOC and e-learning, both of those really became very important during the pandemic.
Exactly. Yeah, nice. It was very interesting for me.
Good. Good. So, so you ladies send me an email if you want me to send you that document,
Yep.
and I'll send it back to you fairly quickly. I'm pretty quick at my responding.
Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, any questions at all about anything to do with the course?
No. And Daniel, how about next week? Do we have class next Monday?
Next Monday, yes. Next Monday is teaching academic subjects and using English as a medium of instruction.
And you know, I'm not in advanced or diploma program, but I think that I don't know, maybe Elham said that I can be in these classes. Is it okay if I come and listen to those classes, or no, I'm not supposed to?
Yes, certainly it's okay.
Thank you.
Of course.
That,
Thank
of
you. I
course,
really like to, you know, thank you.
of course it's fine. Yes, that's
Thank
right.
you.
Exactly. And then on the 13th of February, I'm doing a session about teaching grammar. And on the 20th of February, I'll be doing a session on the MOOC projects, e-lessons, and how to design PowerPoints. And then on the 27th of February, I'll be doing lesson plans, presentations, and observation.
Nice.
So that gives you a little bit of foresight into what's coming
Yeah,
in
it's
the
very
near
good that you
future.
say it, you know.
Yes. Okay, so nobody has any other questions right now?
No, I think it's 11:30.
Yeah. For
Okay.
you.
Our time is up, and well, it's only 2:30 in the afternoon for me, so it's not too bad at all. But it's later at night for you, Vianney.
No, it's actually 11. Well, yes, it's true. 11:30. But I'm hungry. Thanks God I'm working from home.
You go have another supper now.
Yes.
All right, ladies, you have a good week, and I'll see you next Monday.
Thank
See you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for your
See you,
time.
everyone. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.